No notes, Shadur. You're trying to stir stuff up, are you?
Rich Eisen just broke down Shedeur Sanders' whole vibe with the Cleveland media, and wow, this dude shocked the room in the best way possible. Shadur walked into that press conference with a calm swagger, answering every tough question like he'd been doing this for a decade. No panic, no weird energy, just smooth, mature confidence coming from a rookie who clearly knows who he is and what he's about. Cleveland fans might be watching the start of something wild because this kid already sounds like a leader before the story has even been written. And that's exactly why Rich Eisen keeps hyping him up like crazy. Rich made it clear right away that Shadur is finally getting the real QB1 treatment. Every rep, every headline, every ounce of pressure that comes with being the face of an NFL team. And the wild part, Shadur handles it better than some of the veterans who've survived years in this league. While the Cleveland media fires off their usual sharp questions, trying to stir things up, Shadur stays cool, collected, and razor sharp with every answer. He doesn't dodge questions. He doesn't blame anybody. He just speaks with the kind of honesty and confidence that Browns fans haven't seen from a quarterback in a long, long time. Then comes the moment everybody online is talking about. A reporter suddenly brings up the fan talk, claiming Kevin Stefanski was sabotaging Shedeur. And normally a rookie would get rattled by something like that. But Shadur flipped the whole thing into a moment of pure control. It wasn't disrespect, it was awareness, it was street smarts, it was him showing he knows exactly how this game works on and off the field. Especially in Cleveland, where starting drama has practically become its own sport, Shadur knew the trap was coming. His answer didn't just sidestep the drama, it exposed it.
Shedeur Sanders is getting the full-on starting quarterback treatment, as in full week of practice, as in all the reps, as in media availabilities.
He showed he understands the media works angles, builds storylines, and pushes narratives instead of sticking to real football talk. And somehow, he made all that clear without slipping into negativity or taking shots at anybody. In one moment, he showed more maturity and composure than Stefanski has shown across multiple quarterback situations these past few seasons. Shadur didn't let the question box him in. He owned it. He kept control without getting messy, and the whole room felt the shift. That single response didn't just make headlines, it made Cleveland realize they might finally have a quarterback who's built for the spotlight. And Rich said exactly what everyone else was already thinking. How do you not love that kid? Shadur isn't just talented, he's composed, steady, and unshakable. When they pressed him again about his relationship with Stefanski, he didn't bite, didn't get emotional, didn't let the reporter drag him into messy waters. He knows the real issue in Cleveland isn't him at all. It's the non-stop noise, the shaky decisions, and the way this franchise always seems to create storms out of thin air. Shedeur showed he's bigger than all the old habits that have held this team back for years, and that calm confidence shook the room. Meanwhile, Stefanski keeps making questionable choices, and the local media keeps trying to push buttons, hoping Shadur slips just once. But he stays locked in, focused, and fully in control like a grown vet who's been here a decade. And the truth? Cleveland needs Shadur way more than he needs them, and everybody watching can feel it. Rich breaks it down plain and simple. People are going to twist anything about Shadur depending on whatever story they want to believe. If someone wants to tear him down, they'll grab the smallest moment and flip it into a flaw. If someone wants to hype him up, they'll point at every good play like it's proof he's the next franchise legend.
Not from you, but all your supporters out there say that Kevin Stefanski was sabotaged.
But the truth sits right in the middle. Shedeur is answering questions exactly the way a real leader should, with clarity, poise, and zero mess. He's not going to stand in front of the cameras pointing fingers at his coach, and he's not reopening old moments when Stefanski put him on scout team reps or treated him like he didn't matter earlier in the season. He's too smart for that, way too aware of how the media flips narratives and hunts for a headline. That's the part Rich keeps spotlighting because it's the real story hiding behind all the noise. Cleveland media wants Shadur to crack so bad they can taste it. They want that one emotional sentence they can twist into drama, that tiny comment they can inflate into a feud with Stefanski. They want him to admit frustration, bitterness, or tension, anything to feed the storyline they've already built. But instead, Shadur gives them nothing but smooth, controlled, grown man answers every time. He refuses to disrespect the coach, even if the coach didn't show him the same level of respect earlier in the season. And that maturity is what makes everyone pay attention. Stefanski didn't trust him from the jump, and everybody in Cleveland knows it. The staff didn't give him real starter treatment until they had no choice. But Shadur never brings that up, never plays victim, never throws it back in anyone's face. He keeps his eyes forward, not backward, and that's exactly why the media gets so frustrated. They can't trap him no matter how hard they push. Rich sees it plain as day. Shadur is way too poised to fall for cheap setups, while certain reporters keep digging for something messy. And while Stefanski tries to act like everything was part of the plan, Shadur stays steady, cool, and confident. He keeps proving he's more mature than the whole system around him, and that's why fans are starting to trust him more than they trust the coaching staff itself. He's not just surviving Cleveland, he's outsmarting the whole situation with a calm swagger that the building wasn't ready for. Rich Eisen highlights something huge that people outside the Browns building keep ignoring. There's so much noise coming from supporters who love pointing fingers at the Sanders family for problems that don't even exist. The talk that Shadur or his people are somehow pulling strings, sabotaging anything, or controlling things behind the scenes is not just wrong, it's wild and unfair. That narrative never had evidence behind it, and it needs to be called out for what it is. Why would a young quarterback's dad be out here meddling in his career like this is some reality show? And why would Shedeur risk everything by letting distractions take over when he's trying to build a future in the league?
It's interesting you said your supporters, because that does imply like he is. I thought that was an excellent answer of Shedeur, because if you are implying that he's pulling any strings and the Sanders family's like telling Cam, go on the air and
right,
say
exactly.
it's being sabotaged. You know, all this stuff. Deion's supposed to be a helicopter dad, and he's supposed to be screwing everything up, and there's supposed to be reality show cameras there, and he's also not only supposed to be a helicopter dad, he's supposed to be all over the place to create an atmosphere that the coach is on a hot seat. Guess what? Stefanski is on the hot seat all by himself based on the circumstances around everything, even though I don't think he deserves it. I think, you know, if I'm him and he doesn't want to be there anymore, the one thing I'd say, steer me towards New York. Get me towards the Giants.
Those questions make it obvious the noise is built on assumptions, not facts. And the more you look at it, the more ridiculous it sounds. If the Browns really want to win, why are they letting these rumors float around without shutting them down? Why is the coaching staff letting the story spin this far when a simple, clear statement would calm everything down? And honestly, why is the media more interested in stirring up drama instead of focusing on what's actually happening on the field? These are questions Cleveland still hasn't answered. Through all of this, Shedeur's calm, controlled responses stand out even more. His steady tone shows a level of maturity that goes way beyond his age, especially when compared to all the noise surrounding him. He's not here to start problems, not here to stir up controversy. He's here to play ball and stay locked in, no matter how loud everything gets around him. He's here to play ball and lead his squad. So why are people so eager to turn him into the villain of the story? If anything, Shedeur's focus and calm mindset should be the blueprint for the whole Browns organization to follow, not something they try to tear down or second guess. It's hard to forget how much hesitation surrounded him from the beginning, even when he flashed real talent on the field. They kept pulling him out during key moments near the goal line, almost like they just couldn't bring themselves to trust him fully. Why does the Browns coaching staff keep doubting a young quarterback who's clearly ready to prove himself? The truth is, Shedeur wasn't judged only on his ability. He was judged on his last name too. People assumed he was just living off his dad's reputation, that without family ties he wouldn't stand a chance in the league. But isn't a coach supposed to give every player a real opportunity no matter who their family is?
That's what we wish to do, and let's describe everything positive in him, which we wish to do. And I always tend towards the glass being half full. Unless Jim Gaffigan's here with bourbon. In all seriousness, I mean, great answer. What's he going to say? Yeah, he's the coach. I'm the quarterback. He's helping me out here. Oh, yeah, no, I wasn't taking, scout team reps when I thought I deserved it. Remember when I was miming to y'all? You're all thinking I have no chance to be a starting quarterback in this league? Well, is that what he should say? I mean, what do you want him to say?
Instead, Stefanski and the Browns acted like he was some delicate project, not a quarterback ready to fight for real snaps. How long is Stefanski going to keep hiding behind excuses instead of letting Shedeur show what he can do? If Shedeur was truly so fragile without his dad, which he isn't, then why did Stefanski hesitate to give him starter reps when the moment actually mattered? Why pull him out of plays that could have proved his worth on a big stage? Doesn't football literally exist to see how players respond under pressure? If Stefanski thought Shadur wasn't ready, did he ever try to build him up, or was he just protecting his own job by avoiding any risk at all? And now that Shadur finally gets his shot, why is Stefanski acting like giving him an opportunity is some kind of special favor instead of the bare minimum that should have happened from day one? That energy doesn't make sense, and fans can see right through it. The Browns owe Shadur more than hesitation and mixed messages. They owe him real respect and a genuine chance to grow on the field. If he slips, that's part of development, and that's on the coaching staff to handle like professionals, not on Shadur to magically fix on his own. The real question now is whether the coaches will finally trust him the way he's already shown he deserves to be trusted. If he succeeds, that's on Shadur for proving everybody wrong and shutting down every doubt thrown his way. So now the real question is, what's Stefanski going to do next? Is he finally ready to stand behind his quarterback, or is he going to keep holding him back like he has something to lose? It's wild because even with the Browns struggling, people are tuning in more than ever. And it's mostly because of the spark Shadur brings every time he steps on that field. Rich makes it clear that the Browns are pulling in new fans, pulling viewers who never cared about this team before.
Let's just watch him play a few games and then assess him as a football player. I don't know why we have to be so weird.
Well, I mean, again, because it's his last name. Let's be honest. He's a famous kid. And in college, coached by his dad, a lot of people thought he was being coddled by, and in the NFL without his dad, he would not be able to stand on his own 2 feet.
And that's not a small thing at all. When your quarterback brings excitement, even people who clown the Browns start paying attention. Shadur isn't just playing football out there. He's making Cleveland relevant again, and that's something this team hasn't felt in a long time. He's giving people a real reason to watch, even with the team's record looking rough, and that kind of impact is huge for a franchise that hasn't had much to celebrate lately. At the same time, this whole moment shows the big difference between old school thinking and fresh energy that actually moves a team forward. While some folks stay stuck complaining about losses and ignoring the talent right in front of them, Shadur is quietly flipping the whole narrative with every snap he takes. They even joke about the multi-view setup where the Browns never get the main screen. And that joke only exists because of how low the team's reputation had dropped over the years. But now with Shadur at the front, there's finally a real chance to flip the script and change how people see this franchise. The Browns might be behind in the standings right now, but their quarterback is turning them into the center of attention again, and that energy is exactly what this team needs to climb out of the hole it's been stuck in. Shadur is shifting the spotlight, and everybody can feel it. Shedur's impact is getting too loud to ignore, and now the pressure is shifting back onto the Browns in a way they didn't expect. Because once a fan base starts believing in a quarterback, you can't just bench that energy or shove it aside without consequences. And Cleveland is starting to realize they're dealing with someone who can change the entire direction of the franchise if they just let him cook. The wild part is how every national analyst is suddenly tuned in, watching the Browns like it's breaking news every week. Not because of the team record, not because of Stefanski's system, but because Shadur brings a level of attention and star power that this organization hasn't seen in ages. He's turning every snap into a must-watch moment, and that alone has the whole league peeking over to see what Cleveland does next. And that spotlight is exposing things that used to stay hidden behind the scenes. The hesitation in the building, the strange decisions, the moments where the staff acts unsure, it all looks way worse when millions of people are suddenly paying attention. Shedur's success is shining a light on every weak link around him, and that makes certain people uncomfortable, especially the ones who didn't believe in him from the beginning. But here's the twist.
For a 3-8 team, and I'm in charge of the organization, I'm putting somebody out there who's bringing in, making the tent larger.
I made sure on my multi-view the Browns was up last week. You know, I'm going to do it again this week.
What do you mean?
So are a lot of other people.
You're multi-view. It's not Ashton's?
Well, I mean, I had my iPad, you understand? Because he had the big TV.
Oh, he can't. Oh, the Bears have got to be on the main screen, huh?
Shedeur isn't chasing drama. He's just playing football the right way. He's keeping his answers clean. He's staying locked in. He's refusing to give anyone the messy headline they keep fishing for. The more he stays composed, the more the media starts digging, and the more he outsmarts them. And that cycle is starting to flip the power dynamic in Cleveland. Fans can see who's steady and who's scrambling. They can see who's growing and who's guessing. And every time Shedeur stays solid, it just adds more pressure onto Stefanski and the staff to match that same energy. Cleveland doesn't just have a quarterback problem anymore, they have a leadership problem because Shedeur's maturity is putting the whole organization on notice. And if they can't rise to his level soon, the fan base is going to pick a side, and it won't be the coaching staff. The craziest part of all this is how fast the balance of power has shifted in Cleveland, and you can feel the tension every time Shedeur steps on the field. Suddenly, the franchise that used to treat quarterbacks like interchangeable parts has a player the whole city is rallying around, and that changes everything. Fans aren't just watching, they're investing. They're choosing sides, and they're speaking louder than they ever have before. And that's exactly why every mistake, every odd rotation, every questionable decision from the coaching staff is being magnified under a giant spotlight. When nobody cares, bad decisions get ignored. But when millions of people are locked in, every tiny thing becomes a headline. Now that Shedeur has brought the eyes of the league onto Cleveland, the pressure is no longer on him. It's on the people making decisions above him. You can see it in Stefanski's body language, too. The man is coaching like he's walking on thin ice, trying to look calm but clearly feeling the heat. Because the moment Shedeur shines, it exposes how much the staff held back early in the season, and that's a hard thing to hide when the fan base suddenly has receipts and memories. Meanwhile, Shedeur keeps proving he's built for this stage, no matter how messy the situation gets around him. He's turning every week into a quiet message. I'm not the problem here, and fans are repeating it louder than ever, which only adds more pressure inside the building. Cleveland hasn't had this type of internal energy shift in a long time, and it's happening fast. And here's where things get even more interesting. The locker room is starting to notice the contrast. Players can feel when a quarterback has momentum, and they can feel when leadership upstairs is scrambling to keep control. Shedeur's confidence is creating gravity, pulling teammates toward him in a way you can't fake or coach. So now the big question isn't, is Shedeur ready? He's already proving that. The real question is whether the organization is ready for the type of player who can change the culture from the inside out. Because if Cleveland can't rise to the moment, Shedeur's talent will outgrow the situation faster than they expect. If the organization really wants to grow this whole tent, then it's time to fully back the one player who's actually bringing the crowd in and keeping the energy alive. Shedeur is the spark, the draw, the reason people are tuning in to watch a team that used to get ignored. And if Cleveland really wants to level up, they need to stand behind him with real support instead of hesitation. And if you're loving how Shedeur is shaking things up for the Browns and flipping the whole narrative on its head, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of these real breakdowns and straight up honest talks about what's happening behind the scenes. This story is getting bigger every week, and you know we're going to be right here covering every twist and turn. So tell me in the comments, do you think Shedeur can turn the Browns season around and bring real hope back to Cleveland? Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you on the next one.